Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And we just learned as we ended video number 1 that Millennial Mike is now famous. He has been interviewed by Business Insider. I've yet to see the article, but I'd love to hear what it was about. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so I did tag you in the article because I posted on my Facebook, and I tagged you and Dion and Matt and Mark and a couple other folks that you haven't met before. You know, the journey for me to get to the point where, you know, you pick up 4 cards from the Big Zoob and a handful of other rentals that I had prior to your card game. Dion actually introduced me to Kathleen, the reporter, who I think that same reporter's done Todd and you and Matt and Dion and now me, and she's fantastic. But Dion just sent an introductory email and said, hey, if you want to interview somebody who works full-time as a law enforcement officer, single father, and buying a bunch of rental properties, you know, here's your guy. So apparently their standards are slipping, Mike, because they've gone from folks like you, Todd, and Matt to, you know, me. So, but hey, I'll take it.
Well, you know, that's very nice of you to say, but I actually think I'm glad they did that. More and more people need to believe it's possible. And one of the you've heard me say this, I haven't said this in years, but one of the reasons I don't talk about our unit count is because I think it turns people off. That's why I talk about 4. I've never met anybody that doesn't think they can get 4 in a decade.
Right.
4 changes your life. 4 makes it so your retirement years are unrecognizable. The fact that you could do it on a public servant's salary is also awesome. I don't know what public servants make, but I hear it's not much. I was never in public service. I was a commissioned software sales guy. So, you know, different ball game. So I'm excited. So what was the story? Single father, house hacks, goes out of state. What did Kathleen?
Yeah, well, so when you read it, please don't get too mad at me for plagiarizing you left and right, because your whole getting to 4 thing was exactly how I closed out the argument. Now,
nice.
In fairness, I do cite you countless times through our interview. I don't know if it made it in the article, but I did record the whole thing. I'll put it on my channel eventually. But I brought you up, Dion, left and right. So my plagiarism was at least documented, my sources. So, but yeah, I mean, the questions were, you know, how did you get started? What got you interested in investing in real estate? And I talked about how I had worked in a granite shop in construction, making minimum wage, covered in dust, using saws all day, just loud power tools. And this was before podcasting was a thing. And I just would listen to YouTube videos in the background so that I wouldn't just sit there with the noise of the saws. And they asked me one, and I used to just listen to goofy videos like, you know, who would win in a fight, Darth Vader or, you know, Iron Man? I'm like, all right, whatever. This sounds good to me. I'm a dork. And the owners of my company, they were like, well, hey, you know, every time you go out and you do an installation in somebody's house, you always come back with a work order for more work in their bathroom. So they were like, we're going to try to capitalize on this and see if you want to be a salesperson. And I didn't like being bad at things. So that's when I started listening to YouTube videos about how to be a salesperson. That's where I learned about Grant Cardone, who, of course, started talking about real estate. That's how I learned about real estate. And I was able to buy the first house hack duplex on my own through YouTube University, even though it barely existed back then. But right after I bought my very first duplex, I posted a picture of me holding a key in a Facebook group that you saw, and that's how we met. And then you introduced me to Mark. And pretty much the entire rest of my journey has been the one rental at a time books and course actually acted out in someone's life and documented online in YouTube. So I'm like a success story of the one rental at a time program. And that's what the whole interview was about.
Yeah. So again, doing the work, daily discipline, you know, seller financing. These are all things that when you lean forward, you trust yourself, you trust but verify. You know, it is possible. It is possible to build a rental portfolio on a public servant salary.
100%. Yeah. Doing the work was key. I really do think, I remember, God, I don't want anybody to ever watch our first video we did together. It's so grainy and the quality, the light, it's embarrassing. But I remember what was said. And you gave me 2 major takeaways, 2 major pointers. I have to network more and I have to explore seller financing. And everything in life, I've come to learn, everything in life is about who you know. So you need to know as many people as you can. As I sat there writing my Facebook post this morning, thanking all the people who influenced me, I mean, dude, I could have just kept listing name after name after name, people I bought houses from, real estate agents. And I did try to consolidate it down to 6 or 7 of like the main people I've had the most conversations with, but it comes down to who you know. So you have to network. Number 2, the best deals that I have purchased, the very best deals were the seller finance one. I've got a lot of good deals, but the best ones were seller financing, and I wish I could get an unlimited supply of those. They're hard to come by. So yeah, I mean, the one rental at a time program, what Mike teaches in his course, what we talk about on YouTube, what the Three Amigos talk about with house hacking, I mean, you can be an average guy. I mean, I come out of a divorce. I was spending a lot of money to try to get my son, who I have full time now, and I'm very grateful for. But I mean, I'd had a lot of negative things work against me. No college education, grew up very poor, going through a divorce, not making a ton of money, daily discipline, working hard, not making excuses. Dude, you'll get there. And I got to 4. Now I'm at 8, hoping to get to 10, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And then what is your plan for the future? When do you plan to stop risking your life every day? You have a number?
I think I will be able to get there within the next 3 years. So initially I had done my calculation, like, I probably need about 25 rental properties cash flowing, $250 a month. But here's the thing. Appreciation kicks in, rent increases kicks in. And as all these things happen, the rentals I bought earlier on are now the equivalent of 2 or 3. And I mean, my number that I need just keeps dropping. I think I'm gonna hit some point at about 35 years old, the next 2 or 3 years here, where I could just be like, all right, I guess I'm moving to Florida. I'm gonna visit you and go hang out with Dion a little bit. If Matt's still not retired at that time, we're really gonna flame him.
Oh yeah, we're really gonna pick on him then. So again, Business Insider. I'll try to find the link, put it in the show notes. It usually is behind a paywall.
Yeah, it is.
Does what's the title? Does it say Millennial Mike?
Former construction worker turns trooper turns real estate investor. Something. It's a long title. But
there you go.
I'll find again for you.
I appreciate you. This is awesome. I'm so glad. Again, I think your story is what needs to be like your stories, not high income, single parent, did the work, got 1, then got 2, house hacking. It's just, I'm so glad that Kathleen reached out, Business Insider. Thank you for all you do, Mike.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.